I forgave my father for not being there and returned back to him. My spirit connected with his spirit, and through him, I was able to return to God. And I have perfect peace. Perfect love casts out anger. And when anger is gone, fear and doubt, worry, insecurity, suicidal thoughts, all of that is gone. And you are free. Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, or if you want an autographed copy, you can go to my website at rebuildingtheman.com or call 800-411-BOND. I noticed after a while that when these guys overcome their anger, they have amazing ideas about starting a business, but because they've been told that if you don't get a loan from the bank, or if you don't have a 5-year plan, or if you don't do this, and it's just simply not true. It's the first step. With faith, then all things are possible. So, but the most important thing is to return to the Father. That yearning that you have, that emptiness, that void, is not for more stuff. It's not for more friends. It is a return to the Father, because there's no way you can return to God and be angry at your earthly father. So thank you all so much, right? People around the world donated to Bond at rebuildingtheman.com, or they call 800-411-2663, and we're still committed to pointing the right way for men and women to return to the Father. Isn't Nick a Mexican?
Colombian.
He calls himself American.
What is this?
Anchor Baby.
And in this corner, it's the American Anchor Baby.
Daddy's home.
That's an offensive term. People find that hurtful.
You mean it's not politically correct? Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby.
You know, he's an anchor baby in Canada.
Tell him we still rolling with Trump, too.
Anchor baby, the whole thing sounds horrific. You're just making it sound like immigrants are these horrific, greedy people.
Ustedes pueden aceptar mi negocio o aceptar las consecuencias. Plata o plomo.
So you would be considered white, in my opinion.
You the blackest one in this room,
I think so.
And what happened was his mama got pregnant on the other side of the border, and then a few hours before, just before it was time for him to pop out, she jumped across the border and let him fall on American soil. So he became the anchor baby. They don't call him the anchor baby for nothing. Amazing.
We like this anchor baby, right?
Hello, I'm the American Anchor Baby, and this is my show. Thank you for tuning in on this fine Tuesday. What a fine Tuesday it is to be back with you today. We got a bit of a show for you, and we're going to dive right in a moment. Is Nick Blatt? The chat is, some in the chat are not aware. They don't know. Tell them, please, others in the chat. Inform those who are not aware. But welcome to the show. I got a bit of a show for you, like I said, on this fine White History Month Tuesday. And I want to dive in, but I got to say hi to everybody. Let's bring an example, chastising the people always for their lack of decorum and I should show some of that decorum. We got to say hello. Welcome to people here who are watching. Thank you for tuning in. I'm the American Anchor Baby, and if you want to call in and you got something to say, you could call in 888-775-3773. Now it's your turn. Don't be rude. Say hello. Jump up in the chat if you're here live. Leave a little comment if you're here later, and say hello, okay? Leave a like. You don't, maybe you like to just wave and just say a much smaller hello. Just click the like button, okay? It's called decorum. Happy Tuesday. I see all of you. Chris, how you doing? Mods in the chat, be on your best behavior. Kevin, thank you, everybody. Cloud Bops, the ill and uninformed, isn't it? Blatt. You're ill and uninformed. And we say that with love, right? For those that are in the know. Put an emoji in the chat if you know who I am representing with that one. Your name is different, but that just means you're on fire. How you doing? Roscoe, everybody in the chat, welcome. Welcome. How you doing, Kaya? Okay, what else here? Shall we dive in? Rumble.com/American Anchor Baby. I'm live there. Appreciate my viewers. Wait, hold on. Hold up. I think I got to click a button here. Rumble's all fancy with their studio here. And we're live on Rumble, I think. And we're live on Rumble. How you doing? Rumble.com/American Anchor Baby. And punchy.tv/Anchor Baby. We're on it now. We're live. We're happy and sassy. How you doing, Albert? Big Rodney. Angband Art. Okay. Connecting the rabbit holes. These are funny names. Please, folks, I think it's now time to dive in. We have some news and stuff. I got some interesting stuff for you. The English. I want to get to Operation Raise the Colors. We'll get to that. Are you familiar? They spell it Colours. Some of you might scoff. I grew up with the colors. I'm remembering one time, I think it was Hake talking about the spelling. He's like, Nick, he's like kind of European. It's true. Like you think you're so conservative. You're kind of liberal. Anyways, no need to fight right now. Before we get to the English, I think we got to deal with the Chinese. Are they big old enemies? Big, scary Chinese? The CCP, they're spying on us? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. I really don't know. I know that did you know that they have this Chinese Academy of Social Sciences? Maybe we'll get to that in a moment after the news. They said something interesting about Christianity like 10 years ago. Kind of was reminded of that. You might find it fascinating. Why is the world the way it is? Why did America, the West, become the way it is? And how some in China are like, you know what? We're not going to hate. We're going to appreciate and do a little copycat, whatever. Hey, it seems to maybe be working. They absolutely are, Nick. They're absolute enemies. They're total enemies. Hey, that's the chat. Okay. Here's some of the news. MAGA is raging, according to Newsweek. And I bet you they are. Hold up. MAGA rages over Trump's Chinese student numbers. And that one's hitting a little controversially to some. Basically, Trump was talking about a number of things. And he made some comments about China. He's like, okay, we got to be friends with them. I keep hearing about, we're not going to let Chinese students. And I forget the exact wording, but essentially he's like, no, that's not true. We're fine with it. There's this report of 600,000 Chinese students being allowed into the United States to study. And so that's the headline right here. MAGA rages. And that's what you're getting right here a little bit, right? Is this America first? Is the refrain. Even from like Marjorie Taylor Greene, Republicans, right? You might be familiar with her. She's, I don't know, I gather she's a bit of a opportunist, you know? Sometimes she has sounded, as they say, based before. In fact, I remember seeing her. Now, did I know how close? I don't think I even got a chance to say anything or to her, but she was on stage at AFPAC when I was there with JLP and Hake. Should I not dox AFPAC attendance? No. Look, I remember seeing her there. So I'm just saying I've heard her sound real smart before, I guess. So Trump made the comments at the White House on Monday as trade talks with China continue, saying it was very important to allow Chinese students into the country. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, a Republican from Georgia, was among the critics of the plan, saying the U.S. should not let in students who may be loyal to the Chinese Communist Party. Scary. Newsweek has contacted the White House for comment, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, they give you a little rundown. Why it matters. Trump announcement marks a reversal from his administration's hardline approach and the America First policies that his base of supporters embrace. I mean, is that fair? I'd maybe characterize it more as like a little bit of, I don't know, a little bit of like influencers saying things, a little bit of administration, tongue-in-cheek maybe. Maybe some even more explicit stuff like deportations, mass deportations, etc. And I mean, I have no reason. I trust the guy. Like, look, I support the guy. You know me. I support him, but I'm just like one guy. I'm just like a guy, right? I'm a guy. You guys watch me. Is he an expert in this or that? Well, maybe not. But I'm a guy who just. You guys watch Jesse, and he's like, Nick, you should do a show, and just the only thing, just. Only put out true information, and when you don't know, just say you don't know. I'm like, I can do that. So you guys can like trust that. And look, I'm just saying that as it stands, the country's messed, okay? And so keep it up, President. Like we just got to see a bunch of this stuff. But I call him America First. Come on, it's like America First because of who he is. Come on, think about it. And what he set up for what's after, possibly. Huh? It's kind of how I put it, but where was I? Look, they're mad a little bit. The number draw. Okay, whatever. They're saying why it matters. You know why it matters. You know, thank you, Newsweek. But anyways, I was trying to look it up. Can Americans go study in China? Hard to, I don't know. I haven't even brought it up until I research it more, maybe, huh? It seems not easy from what I looked up through AI. So I'll leave it at that. We'll come back to that maybe. But the Chinese students here, let me give you a little bit more on what maybe the administration is thinking here. This is Commerce Secretary Lutnick. What's his name? Lutnick? Howard Lutnick, okay. U.S. Secretary of Commerce on Fox News with Ingraham, I think. Yeah, we know her. Talking about just this. How about it? Let me unmute it. Because he says this, he answers the question about, well, what's the mentality here? It's very important. What's Trump's mentality, etc. Let's watch. Let's watch after we boost the volume.
Very important.
Mr. Secretary, with all due respect, how is allowing 600,000 students from the communist country of China putting America first?
Well, the president's point of view is that what would happen if you didn't have those 600,000 students is that you'd empty them from the top. All the students would go up to better schools, and the bottom 15% of universities and colleges would go out of business in America. So his view is he's taking a rational economic view, which is classic Donald Trump, looking at higher education and saying,
but why are you
until
helping
we
Harvard?
modify that.
That just
What's
helped
that?
Harvard and UCLA and UCal Berkeley, and I mean, you're all helping those schools. Why? They're like, basically factories of anti-American propaganda. And now they're getting a big influx of cash because of the Chinese students. I mean, I know President Trump has always been very pro-Chinese student. I just don't understand it for the life of me. Those are 600,000 spots that American kids won't get.
I've heard that a few times. Sounds true, right? Those are spots that Americans could get. I know. I wonder many things here in this. Like I could really believe, honestly. I mean, this strategy of just like a sane economic thing. We just got to support it so they don't go under. Trying to make it all great again, but maybe it's worse than we think. And like some of my one caller was saying the other day, he was trying to just do the numbers on how many workers are there actually in America, and he wasn't supporting illegal immigration. But once you start seeing the numbers, you're like, wow, if you're this like city planner, right, government type, right, you're giving the controls to the big old 747, but you're insulated too from problems, from what you might do. I mean, you can start making sense of some of this mess. Why they're saying, yeah, I mean, if we just bring them in, and then the capital, the people with money, they're like, okay, we got to have workers, etc. How bad is it? No, so all I'm saying with that is, yeah, I can believe a necessity of wanting to do things in an economic way. I can believe that. I mean, it seems like even Trump's style. So I could believe it and all that. It's just, I'm a guy, right? I'm just a guy. I don't know the minutia of all that, so I don't really feel like arguing about it. Like, is this positive? Is this a good economic strategy that's gonna, hold up the colleges just enough to do this? I don't know all the minutia. I mean, I'll let you know when I do. I just know that America is the people of America are being replaced. Let's start there. Demographically, all that is the end of the country, and that's like the more, call it black-pilled, call it like the more extreme, dramatic way of putting all that. But you see the path, you see the direction. So that's all I can see from my vantage. I can also see Trump. I do see him. I see him as a man, and I appreciate him. What else can I say about this? Like, it's an interesting story. I know it's controversial. It does let me bring up this Chinese social academies thing. I'll do that in a sec here. But what else here? Yeah, that's pretty much what I was thinking about this. It's pretty much what I was thinking about this. Because how am I supposed to argue about all that? Like, oh, Trump likes Chinese students. I mean, they can't go under, and that. I see. What's that? What's that clicking? Let's just ignore that. What was I saying? I see the same kind of, right? The same refrain, Republicans. Take that even further. Beyond Trump, I can't think of like being involved or like caring about politics, which is probably even a shallow thing, right? What is required of you as a responsibility, as a voting, as a voter, etc. Well, if you had this mentality of, okay, we're in this country, what's the best for the country? Sometimes that might be difficult. Sometimes that might be putting aside your desires, your fears. But that's just like honest, right? I can't see, like, besides Trump, what Republican even deserves any attention? But maybe the right thing is to watch and be like, maybe there's a way to thread the needle, do the least harm. Maybe that's what a more stable man would say, huh? But just honestly, like, what else is there? It seems like they don't deserve any wins or anything else. I guess I'm talking about Republicans here, but whatever, politicians. So anyways, Chinese students, did you know about the Chinese Academy of Social Sciences? So I've heard this about China, right? So my evil mind, right? I heard the Chinese Academy of Social Sciences says something nice about Christianity 10 years ago. And my mind, because of you people, look at you people in the chat, so judgmental. Yeah, Nick, China is our utter enemy. I'm like, okay, is this propaganda? Okay, so I'm like trying to find out about the Chinese Academy of Social Sciences. From what I could gather, they're like an internal, like domestic, their magnifying glass is internal. It's a think tank over there in China. They talk a lot about themselves, but there was an instance, it's not like the only one, not like I've seen everything they've done, but just stuff from what I've seen, they had this viral instance that went around, hit the news 10 years ago, where they looked at the West. Why is what was so special about the West? We put our experts on the job, is what they said, right? And they came up with a conclusion. This is research spanning 20 years. This is stuff you can look up. They cite it. They deeply research this. Yes, Nick, I'm pretty sure in real life they arrest Christians. Maybe. Okay, I'm just that doesn't mean that they couldn't see what they're seeing here. I mean, they said themselves the heart of the culture. They wondered many things. Was it their economic system? Was it their legal system? Was it all these things? They concluded all these systems come from the heart of their culture, the Christianity, the Christian moral foundation of social and cultural life. I'm not saying they accepted Jesus. I'm saying they clearly see the practical. They set out to find the practical reason why the West was so successful, and they concluded it was Christianity. So I'll leave you with that. They're not saying they went around. I'm not saying this academy accepted Jesus. They went to the front and said, you know what? This is my Lord and Savior. Like, understand what I'm saying here. And if you notice, look, I don't know as much about, maybe you know about the Chinese more than I do. Christianity is inherently anti-government. They can't have that there. But yet, I don't know if you've seen some of this. Now, maybe someone should tell me better now. I was reading this guy. Maybe this guy's biased. I was reading this guy. He's like this. He writes articles, and he's out of China. He's an interesting guy, Hua Bing. And he describes what is there is a morality, so to speak, that is, from what I gather, put forth by the CCP. This is crazy we can't have Christianity here. This is anti-government. Yeah, maybe they have a whole bunch of that. But it seems like they also promote like social cohesion, some of these things that they were saying. Look, there's a lot of success behind a whole bunch of people that all say, hey, you know what? Treat each other as much as you should be treated. Guess what? There's a lot of economic power behind that. You know, if everybody agrees, okay, don't steal, that's wrong. Don't cover your neighbor's things and wife and all that. Treat others, the golden rule, etc. What I've seen is, from what I get, the few things I've seen the CCP pedal in that, if you want to call it like dishonest or something. And I think they have found success. Have you seen some of these Chinese cities? Maybe all these skyscrapers they're building, I read the other day it was like 3,000. They have like 10 times more skyscrapers across their cities compared to America. Maybe they're all like paper mache, right? That's what you got. That's what I see on X. Maybe it's all paper mache, right? You can just snap it off, aha. But I'm just telling you some of the stuff I've seen. So don't believe everything. Have a little discerning eye. Who's this guy? Hey, mods. Sorry, hold on. I got you, mods. So anyways, what was it with the Chinese? You should look into that. That was an interesting one. We might read it later this week. Some other aspects of this. But yeah, they said Christianity was real cool. Okay, that's enough out of that. That's enough of that, right? 888-775-3773. Let me put that on the screen. We'll get to all the super chatter supporters and all that here in a moment. What are y'all saying here? They also have ghost cities. Yeah, look, I'm not saying China's amazing, but I keep saying that. I keep saying I'm not saying China's amazing. So now it totally looks, and now it totally looks even more so that I'm in fact a CCP agent running cover, and I'm making it worse. And I'm taking the hole. Running cover. It's just, isn't that a bit of a jolting commentary? Maybe it's like, it's just propaganda. They're just communists. Blah blah blah. Don't worry. Just lie. If it's lies, we're the best. Da da da. They're just copycats. They're just cheap. Whatever. And then maybe this is propaganda. Can I even find the video? Maybe this is propaganda. I can admit that. Looks expensive. I mean, might as well just AI generate this if I could find it. Just AI generate it if you want to do propaganda. This is pretty expensive propaganda. Building all these skyscrapers. Whoa. Might as well. You should have just AI generated it. Dumb CCP. Paper mache still costs stuff. Paper mache is still pretty expensive. So dummies should have just AI generated this. You know what? We'll just do that. We'll just AI generate it, the propaganda. Don't worry, Chinese. We'll just do that. How dummies. Dummies, waterfalls out of your out of your skyscrapers. Yeah, a bunch of copycats. Anyways, I'm just being super sarcastic. I don't really know that well, but if that is a wrong mentality in anybody, right? Just like right above it all, cocky, kind of like that person is the pride, right? Pride is all fall. All will fall with that pride. But that's not me being all high and mighty. That's just me talking ish. Okay, enough with the ramble. Where y'all at? Running cover. If China was actually communist, they would be failing horribly. That's an interesting comment, Lord of the Pies. How you doing, sir? I don't want to say I know, but I have the same instinct or impression. It's some hybrid. I read this a long time ago, years ago, before even being into politics or anything. I remember reading so many things years ago that made no sense to me. But I read something about the Beijing, what is it? The Beijing concept or the Beijing. It was this interesting article about the hybrid capitalism of the CCP. Anyways. So, I'm sure they have a pro-government version church there, Nit, like the Russian Orthodox became a leg of the government. You get it, yeah. And consider how effective that is. Consider for a moment how that has its, and I bet you, Kevin, you really wouldn't like that. You really are an individual, maybe. Free thinker. But it's like a state church. But I mean, then in England, wasn't there the Church of England? Anyways, now we're going into history. I don't even know what the heck I'm talking about. They do fail. They have bridges falling everywhere. Fair enough. So look, that's true. Look, every nation's got to worry about their own stuff. Like DC. Can we do this real quick? I was paying attention to the DC cleanup. Fascinating stuff. I mean, the implications are incredible. That you can clean up a city. That you can clean up crime, right? And I was just watching, okay? Like, of course I believe Trump, right? He put out the National Guard. If it was just like an image thing, in before all the people who are like, oh, it's just for show and image, a show of force. It's not serious, blah, blah, blah. So in before all those, it's consider that's already a win. That's already a huge shift. And then him saying, oh, we're going to take it to Chicago. We're going to take it there. What is this dictator doing? Like, that's already a huge shift. And besides the material actions of the National Guard, I mean, all that had its effect. I just didn't know how successful it would be. And I was holding off a little bit because I was just scrolling X, and I'd see some of the influencers out there in DC, and I'd see some of these black influencers out there like, thank you, Trump, like in the daytime. Out there in the daytime, they're like, thanks, Trump. And these left Democrats, these radical left Democrats, I'm not trying to be too judgmental here, but I was like, it was like, wow, this is like GOP content almost. But I mean, what am I saying with that? I mean, I guess let me just be clear. Let me just imply. A part of me was thinking influencers kind of just repeating a line here. I'm not denying that how clean it was, but I was just wondering. I was just watching these influencers going out there saying, the radical left Democrats, let me show you. Maybe I'm the shallow one because the following clip, the following two clips, lended, I guess, some more credibility to me. I don't even want to imply that hard. It's not like I was thinking that hard the other way. But look. The point is, this is the first one. And they had this, in this one, you had this incredible, as he writes, incredible interaction between a D.C. police sergeant and a deranged liberal. Here you're getting it from a cop. Here you're getting it from a D.C. sergeant. And it seems like, right, it's just like on the street, someone catches this. Maybe the person was there with this guy. But your catching was looking to be a pretty candid conversation, possibly. So you get a little words from the police, right? And it's a little hard to hear. I'll tell you the captions here in a sec. I'll turn it up for you. But in case you can't hear, I'll read out the words in a sec.
Not control a long time, okay? It's not out of control. Not now, right? Not now. It wasn't last week. It wasn't. I've been doing this job for 20 years. You know what? You can't tell me about this job. I've been in my cousin 21 years. I've been an officer 28. I'm a sergeant. I'm in my cousin 21 years old. I was born in this.
I've been an officer 28 years. He said, crime's not out of control. This guy's telling him. And the officer responds, he's like, not now, it's not, right now. And then the guy quips back. He say, it wasn't even last week, saying it's not just today. Last week it was bad too. It wasn't bad either. The sergeant responds saying it was bad. Crime was bad last week, and now it's not. He's been doing this job 28 years. So great signs. I mean, again, the implications, should it even be an implication? I mean, we've been in chaos maybe for so long, well before even me, that people are like, well, it's just crime, right? It's this like, it's like that engine, it's like the, you guys ever read that in school? What was that book when they were all living underground? It was like humanity was like underground and they had lights everywhere. And like, and a motor ran all their lights, but they didn't really know what it did. They didn't know what a motor was. They just kind of knew how to like replace some parts, which were running out. Anyways, you guys ever read that in school? Where was I going with that? Yeah, crime is just this thing. It's just this mysterious beast that, you just kind of like, if we throw some money and some, some like policy changes this way, the numbers kind of change. But what is crime? It's like, just enforce it. Just like put him in jail. Oh, wow. It's the sign of a traumatized people, right? Like Stockholm Syndrome type thing. So you got this, that guy. And then this other guy, look, this guy's more colorful with his language, big swears. Sorry. We got swears incoming, folks, but this should maybe add to its authenticity, if I may, sir. Look, here we have a YN, a proverbial YN who is commenting on he may not even be a YN. Look, but he's a young black man in DC talking about walking blocks. And if I may translate, we may activate the translator further if we need to, but he be walking blocks. That is to say, walking without a care in the streets of D.C. while wearing chains, okay, jewelry, talking about should he yell, right, in distress. He's sure he will find help. He's in fact positive of it.
They said FBI, DEA, ICE, it's all that outside in Washington, D.C. I don't even gotta look over my shoulder no more. I'm walking around with this shit. I ain't hiding none of this shit. I'm walking blocks with this motherfucker. Listen, jump out on me if you want. I'm gonna scream. They're gonna be here in 33 seconds. As soon as you jump out, get that shit up. Ah!
That's him. He say he's gonna scream like that.
Shit out me. Y'all niggas jump out if y'all want. Good God almighty, boy. I got some motherfucking help. Some backup. For real, you jump out. I'm gonna blow your ass. Look, they right here. Look.
I don't think that's a MAGA influencer, guys.
They outside, though. Oh, God almighty. I could just scream. They gonna help me.
That's the police he's pointing at. And I'm not from DC. Look, it's part of why I keep a discerning eye. I mean, I'm not there. I do believe what's up. I've shown you other clips. And I know callers on my show don't even believe it. They call me and they're like, Nick, you know what you're talking about? And they're black. Sometimes not. I can't remember. Actually, let me think. I think only black people have called my show to say, hey, why are you paying attention to black people? Stop ever even looking at them. Stop. I don't have any love for black people. I literally hate them. I'll say I love them. I'll call your show, but I'm showing you how much I hate them because I'm telling you to not even look at them ever doing wrong, anything ever. Stop it. So I hate black people. It's crazy. They call my show just like, maybe not that explicit, but. So look, I'm thinking we're getting a maybe honest review here. And I showing the police there, they passing by, going around. And look, I've been around here in LA just without seeing a cop. Weeks. I don't know, for like a long time, like for days. That's kind of changed. I remember noticing more cops in the area going like, wow, look at that, a police car. I haven't seen one of those in a while. And again, it's another thing too. Should that even be society? Is that a new evolution of society? Cops everywhere. Wow, now I feel safe. Maybe America was safe. See, I wasn't there. Was America just safe? Like there were cops. But it's not like you had to see them everywhere to be like, wow, is this place even safe? So I don't know. I wonder, that might even have another meaning. You know, you start seeing cops everywhere. It's like, oh, wow, this was a place that is waiting to be violent. Should the police chief not have enough resources? You know what I'm saying? Like, he looks tough wearing mommy stuff. You guys making fun of our young black man in D.C. being honest, saying, you sirs, fellow gentlemen on the internet, if you wish to pull up on me, you could do so. But I'll tell you right now, I will scream. I'll scream in a very high-pitched manner. And those fine gentlemen behind me will protect me. Let me warn you. He said it a little differently, but what? Sorry. Chat is, sometimes they say strange things. Very funny. It's irritating when they show a bad CCTV tweaker walking by and it's an interdimensional being. Yeah, don't you hate that? Don't you just hate that? So anyways, DC cleanup, pretty interesting. The implications, right? Taking it to other cities. Let's take this across the country. I wonder what is the legality of that, but who cares? What else about this? DC, it's just a bit of a wasteland. I mean, this is kind of what I mean. We could support Trump. We could love what's happening and all that. I'm watching what's in front of us. And you get it. It's over, so to speak. And until things improve, right? Until things improve, you know, we're monitoring the situation. We stay monitoring the situation. I don't know what else to tell you. So I got more for you. A little bit more, just a couple more. American Wasteland. It's kind of incredible. Some of these. You seen the New York subway one? Let me pull this up here. You seen this one? Let me show you. Notice how the officer spawns out of nowhere once the man defends himself. They're saying this is out in New York. That's some of the caption to this video. We'll gather that for ourselves because I saw it too, and I can't really tell what the officer was doing before. But you have here already jumping into the middle of an altercation. We got two individuals, white guy in the white shirt with the longboard. Okay. Got a little longboard action. Got a little, land yachts? What's he got there? And we got fella over here. We'll turn that down. With a knife. You'll see the pointy end of a knife in his right hand in a moment here. I don't know, he seems to be warning him, right? He's like, back up, like he's pointing at him. You see the point of the knife, right? I'll let it play from here forward, but now you're watching.
Save £50 per person. That's £200 off.
Backing up, I like that. He's kind of giving his back to the guy. I don't like that much, but boom. Took a truck to the face. Seems to have stopped him, but
Officer, he got a knife.
you know it's New York. Officer, he got a knife. And so yeah, he's got taser out. Buddy's in the. It kind of ends right here. Buddy's in the tracks. Good thing the train just left. But yeah, I don't know. The guy was saying the officer spawns out of nowhere, and tries to, when the guy defends himself, kind of implying the officer was just watching until he defended himself. I don't think that's what happened. I bet you they called him, and then that's when he arrived to that. He arrived to this guy, kind of bad timing, hitting this guy in the face with his longboard, right? And then the lady in the video saying, "The officer, he's got a knife." The state will somehow still have the ability to stop you from being a vigilante long after it loses the ability to stop you from being a victim. Whatever really happened in this video, can we say this guy's even wrong about that? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know what brought this on, but, he's got a knife. So, and this seemed to be effective. It seemed to keep him away. This guy's trying to walk away. This guy doesn't want anything. So leave me alone. Oh, yeah. There you go, buddy. So, the criminal's still there. What are you saying there? It's terrible. Attempted murder. What the longboard guy? That's not a knife? Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. That is socialism in a nutshell. I mean, this was like, look, they're saying you could clean this up. Isn't that crazy? People have just been allowed to be deranged. You really just have to start there, maybe. What am I saying? They're just, what do we do? We just got to let people be deranged. No, you cannot allow this. Have police around. Have patrols. Maybe painful at first kind of thing until things calm down. Until it improves. So yeah, I don't know. The officer spawns out of nowhere. I think he just arrived there. I really don't know. But it seems here, one more time, hits him. And you don't really see. I mean, it looks like maybe the officer showed up and got the guy's attention. He's like, hey, hands up. What's going on here? Put the board down. Down on the floor. Get down. Lady's like, this guy's got a knife. Now he's got his taser out. Now he's like handling him. Don't know what happened. So we'll leave you with that. obviously this guy has a case. You know, I was reading, I don't know how it is in New York, but I was reading that. Look, I heard this from John Correa. Do you guys know John Correa? Say you gotta save your asp. You know, active self-protection. I don't know if you've seen this guy. He's interesting. He does these like self-defense videos. I mean, he breaks down these self-defense videos. He was saying, I mean, he seems like a knowledgeable guy. Very into all the gun laws in the States, trying to inform you how to defend yourself. You gotta have your OC spray. And he's like, California laws are actually just fine to defend yourself. Like, they're great. It's the gun laws that are a mess. So, I don't know. I'll let you. I don't know. So, anyways, DC, New York. What else? Look, American Wasteland. Let's do this quick. You know, what's so bad? I mean, what's so bad? Look, maybe there's a reason for 600,000, the Chinese students. But besides that, right, kind of a more bird's eye view. For me, it's the more general. We're pretty much fine with immigration, and we're just going to tell you what you want to hear, Republican voters. So taking that context, you got to understand it really is happening. Like, oh, these immigrants are taking their jobs, or they're only going to give it to each other, the nepotism, all that crap. I mean, it's true. Do you really need this this story? Walmart executive fired after taking $30,000 daily in kickbacks from Indian staffing agencies, funneling jobs to Indian nationals while shutting out American workers. Hold on. The H-1B scandal. I mean, it's Financial Express if you wanted an article. But yeah, look, I was telling you that yesterday. Like healthcare in Canada. It's like the government pays for him, right? Everybody gets it. The Hispanic doctors and staff and secretaries, and the Indian doctors and staff, and the Chinese doctors and staff and secretary. You know, I'll say I don't speak Chinese or Indian, but I know the Hispanic officers were very cool with, hey, look, hey, you're my friend. Oh, we just met, but you speaking to me in Spanish. No. I'll get you ahead of the line. No, don't worry. I'll get you an appointment. But what else? Hey, you get it. Okay, let's end off with this one. As you know, I'm familiar with Canada, growing up there. And it's a bit of an advanced state. Look, this guy's wearing what you see. Like this is a guy who loves Canada. Maybe you'd think, right? His home is Canada. He's got a turban on. You're confused. You haven't been to Canada, okay? You haven't been to Canada in a while, maybe. This is what they look like sometimes. And he's going viral because he's this Punjabi rapper guy. And he's got this music video where he's beating up white people. That's why this is going viral. He's beating up white people in this. He's talking about being a Jat, okay? Now, I don't speak the language he's speaking, but Jat is like an ethnic group, okay? The Jats. Punjabi rapper. What's his name? The Jats, okay? And I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he's talking about how awesome the Jats are, right? While beating up white people in his home is Canada, while he's wearing a home is Canada jacket, an immigrant in this country. It's a Jat. It's kind of fire. Jata. But, you know, it's crazy, right? Is it Paddy Wagon or Paddy? No, that's not what you're talking about. Home is Canada. Look, I'm telling you, I know a little bit about this. I remember the halal gangs popping up in Brampton, Mississauga. Halal gang graffiti started popping up, and I don't know. I mean, there's other. I remember, I got to say, growing up in Mississauga, Toronto, I never really heard of gangs. I'm sure there were. But the first gang I saw in the news was Halal Gang. I don't know what to tell you about that. So anyways, this just shows how demoralized Chinadians are that they allow this ish to exist. Thank you, Doom Jesus. I heard this guy also got shot and killed. So that's the news. That's the rumor on X. I can't even tell you, but he was known as the Punjabi Tupac, and there's an interesting connection. There's an interesting connection here. I don't know what to make of this. This is what they're saying on X. They're showing this image. You see, I mean, it does look like it. I got to say, it looks like, you see what's swinging there in the rear view mirror of the Indian trucker who made the illegal U-turn that killed those 3 over there in Florida? There's a moment, a frame in the video where whatever's hanging from the rear view mirror swings into view of the camera. It kind of looks like the red turban and someone holding up an AK kind of on their shoulder, kind of just like this Punjabi rapper. Look, do you see it? It might be. I don't know if there's Photoshop, what's going on here, but look, this guy's known. They be representing him. I see calls. I'll get to all of you. Thank you so much. 888-775-3773. What is up with that? Huh? Esa Jata. No more Jata. Shout out to the Jata. Let's get to Alex out of Tennessee. How you doing, sir? You're on the air.
Hey, Nick. How's it going, man?
All is well, man. Thanks.
Nice. I just listened to some of the things you're talking about with the immigrants and the Chinese thing and all that. And it just reminds me more and more how it's really just about focusing on yourself. I mean, and figuring out what's going on with your own mess here. And the more we do that, the better things are going to be. It doesn't matter who's trying to distract people. Oh, the Ukrainians or the Chinese or the Russians, the whatever, the Mexicans. It's like, well, what about here? Why don't we just take the proverbial beam out of our own eyes before we worry about the speck in everyone else's? It's so crazy. That it's always about someone else or something else somewhere else. always, and it's to me that always seems to be a distraction of some kind. Yet another distraction. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Always, and it's the opposite is true. It just gets worse as we keep paying attention to other things. And I gather in some ways, in ways that I'd like to see here, for example, I mean, you could say, just to add to what you're saying a little bit, not to look at China, but here's just an aspect that people might not have thought of. Like, consider, does China let in a whole, like, we need workers, right? You need to be an economic power, da-da-da.
Right.
Where's this rising economic power that's such a fear, right, for some in Washington? China.
Exactly.
And oh, wow. So they must be gathering all these immigrants too, right? That's how they're competing. And yet they're not doing that at all. I guess I'm just thinking about paying attention to ourselves. That's just one aspect. Maybe in other ways they're not, but some might not see it that way, right? It's like, right, it's a little interesting.
It's
they seem to be doing fine with their own people working on themselves, is what I gather. What do you think?
I agree. I think that seems pretty clear. They're not bringing in a bunch of immigrants, you know what I mean? And like, oh, we're doing so well. We just can't wait to go and help all these people out. It's like very, I mean, countries that are actually produce things, physical things anyways, they're not bringing in people for help. Like when and because we don't really produce anything, other than weapons. We're not really producing a whole lot here.
And if the nation is doing that, they're doing it like Saudi Arabia, and they're bringing in workers, and they're not allowed to stay and vote or anything. And they are getting international news saying, "Oh, they're abusing these workers." Right? There's like a slave class, but they're right. So if they're doing that, they're bringing them to just build something, right? Make this building here, thank you, and you'll get paid. They're getting paid. But yeah, look, imagine that over here. I gather, I'm not an expert, but I gather it's kind of painful in the short term. Let's pull inwards, fix us. It might mean a shrinking of this or that. I mean, look, you saw Commerce Secretary Lutnick say, if we don't bring in 600,000 of these students, the bottom 15% of these colleges are going to go under. And I don't know how true or not true, but I gather that's somewhat true, I bet. And that does sound like good economics, but imagine how painful, but how it's a bit of a bet maybe, how it might turn out better in the long run should you, I don't know, shrink. But again, I'm not an economist. Maybe that doesn't have to happen with the colleges, but imagine that mentality in politicians. Like, okay, well, let's deal with a little short-term pain now for the truth later. I don't see that anywhere.
No, it's always, and it's always, this is also like a control by fear, decision making by fear. Which, when has that ever worked out?
I don't know. It doesn't work out in my life too well. I'll say that.
Yeah, how many great decisions have people made based off of fear? And it just seems like anytime there's I voted for Trump, and I appreciate a lot of the things he's doing. I think, he's made some mistakes for sure. And I mean, who knows?
You said mistakes?
Yeah, I'm sure he's made some mistakes. Things that he hired a bunch of people who were definitely moles in his first term. Mm-hmm. And he also, there's some things I don't agree with, this whole AI investment mess. I think it's a bunch of baloney. But
you think like the AI thing is a bit of a bubble? Maybe. What are you thinking?
I think it's a bunch of nonsense. I think it's a bunch of parlor tricks and make believe stuff, and it's basically just a glorified search engine that gives you this semblance of personality, and so. Because it has good diction and it's able to, mimic something that appears to be real. That whole Turing test thing is all just which is all just predictive programming stuff.
Right. Which has been around for a while.
Yeah, it's
like a 20-year-old technology in some cases. Yeah, like language models
right.
It just got packaged in an interesting way. But there's been a lot of advancement and. There's also a whole bunch of fluff. I read the other day that 90% or something like that, like the vast majority of these new stocks that are dealing with AI, only like 2 or 3 of those companies are actually profitable. Something crazy. I forget what it was, but I gather a similar thing in how maybe overblown. But tell me this. Tell me, are you familiar somewhat with the internet era and that coming around? Are you... familiar with that? I heard that was like a lot of hype. I heard it was huge, and it was like, I think they called it the dot-com bubble. What was that like?
Well, these are like, as Jesse says, there's nothing new under the sun. Anytime something new comes around that people don't really fully understand, there's always going to be some, grifting schemers who are going to take advantage of the ignorance of the general population as it relates to this new phenomenon. Mm-hmm. And whether this phenomenon is real or imagined, oftentimes it is an imagined phenomenon. It's not actually really true. It's a lot of gaslighting, a lot of propaganda. there's a lot of grifters who are going to take advantage of that and operate what's essentially a Ponzi type scheme to siphon off as much labor and wealth.
That's a dirty word, man. We don't like that. We call it speculative. Okay, Ponzi. Why is he throwing around the Ponzi word now? We're just speculators, buddy.
Call it what you want, but
why are you ruining the party? Why are you busting up the party? We're just speculators. Yeah.
I mean, but this has been around so long, and it applies to everything from banking to to whatever governments. It's all the same kind of thing where you take advantage of the delusional and oftentimes hopeful nature of people because they want to believe that they're good. They want to believe that they're supporting something that's meaningful, whether it's a war or it's civil rights or a government or whatever. You name it.
Man, that's
you know
so
what I mean?
true.
It or AI or cryptocurrencies or they always think that like, okay, this is going to be the thing that's going to rescue us, and it never is. It's yet another false false savior.
It's another just another replacement to the motor we don't know how to fix. But
because
it'll keep it running for a bit though.
Because to the first point that I made is that it points you away from yourself and out there into the world as the fix, which is just never going to work. Never.
Interesting stuff, man. So what was that like, though? What was that .com era like? Was there anything like that before in your life, or was that like a huge moment of speculation? What was kind of like the vibe?
I mean, it was cool. It was exciting. It was a lot of fun. It was. I remember when Google was a new company, and it was like, I remember a friend of mine telling me, and it's funny because I was always kind of like suspicious of a lot of this stuff, and if I was smart, I would have, I would have probably made some investment. But
even post the burst or whatever, you're still like, hey, no, I still should have been right. There was still something there.
Well, the thing is, for every one that actually is successful, there's 10,000 that are just schemes and just propped up bullshit. I'm sorry, pardon my language, but they're propped up
been a
bull
dirty
crap.
show today with the swearing on the clips.
Sorry, man.
People are getting real loose. This is my fault, sir. But thanks for the apologies. Accepted.
I apologize, but just propped up, just mess, nonsense.
Yeah.
That is essentially just riding the wave. It's like all those social media companies that emerge, all the ridiculous cryptocurrencies, all these things. There were tons and tons of different search engines that popped up when that was a thing, and but you don't know which one's going to survive, which one isn't.
Yeah, would you agree? But you remember, please. No, please. You remember.
Oh, I was going to say, I remember my friend telling me, he's like, man, this company, Google, they're going to take over the world, man. You watch. And I was like, and this was this was back in like, I don't know, 2003 or 4 or something like that. I don't know. I remember. It was when they were first kind of like starting to take over and pull a lot of people away from Yahoo and all these other, you know what I mean? Which were huge companies. AOL, Yahoo, those were massive companies at the time. And everybody thought these companies will never go down. And they did.
Interesting. Yeah. So in that same way, you would say, would you agree with me that for whatever the .com bubble and all that was hype and burst and lies and all that, the internet has forever changed, right? The society we live in is different. Now everybody has smartphones. It's even way more different in ways that we don't even haven't even like kind of caught up to in understanding, like, or being aware enough of ourselves to understand how different maybe life has changed. But would you agree with me? The internet has like just forever changed things.
Yeah, I mean it has and it hasn't, I guess, because it's definitely different. But again,
everyone uses it. Literally, everyone uses it every day.
Yeah, it's.
I say this. That's pretty much how I see AI. Yeah, a whole bunch of overblown stuff, all this speculation, all this stuff. but it's basically that's kind of how I'm seeing it. Like, it's like the internet. It's gonna change everything, though. It's gonna be everywhere.
Well, the thing I've noticed with technology, I mean, I was born in '79, so all throughout my childhood, technology and its innovations were all considered to be net benefits for everybody. But throughout the '80s, everything seemed to still be sort of getting better. Computers were brand new. I remember like my brother getting like a Commodore 64, and it was like the most cutting edge thing that you could find at the time. And I was excited because I was into video games, all this stuff, and it just seemed like it was just going to be fun and cool, and that was also during a time of great prosperity. In the 1980s, America was extremely prosperous. I mean, I knew so many people, as I grew up in Southern California, I knew so many people who had like just a regular job at a factory, and they were able to raise their families with just a regular job, and mom could stay at home, and it wasn't like, and they had 3 kids and a backyard and a barbecue, and
that's so interesting.
They didn't have to. They didn't have to live in conditions where they had to have like 4 people working full-time jobs in the house to just barely make their rent. They actually owned their houses, and even like your resident crackhead dude could work a part-time job at like fast food place and still afford a crummy apartment somewhere. But that's not how it is out there anymore. Like what I'm getting at is that all this technology promised to make things cheaper, faster, better, more enjoyable for the general population, and that has not been the case for a very, very, very long time. But we still get the same promises from all these people and all these technologies. But no matter how many times it doesn't live up to its promise, no matter how much lower your people's general quality of life gets, they still fall for it. So in some ways it's changed, but in a lot of ways it hasn't changed. It's all the same crap.
Fair enough, man. Yeah, I've wondered that about being, a single salary, right? Supporting a family, how that changed, how women started working, that whole argument, you start you get double the workers, you dilute the workforce, you're now having you bring down the value of that labor. I don't know if I've wondered to myself if that's, I bet you that. I mean, I'm not denying any of that. I bet you it's huge. I do remember wondering recently though, it's like, is it just a matter of prosperity? Like America was just very prosperous for a long time. I don't want to say just a matter of prosperity. Maybe the women thing is a thing, but like I just wonder, that one salary, being able to support it, is that just a representation of that prosperity? And the only way to get it back is prosperity. I'm just wondering out loud.
Well, and we also weren't taking in massive amounts of immigrants either. It was just we were self-sufficient as a nation. And listen, I'm the child of immigrants. My dad came from Mexico legally, and my grandparents on my mother's side, they came here legally as well from Mexico. So I've seen all kind of sorts of angles of this stuff, and my family had no remorse for people who didn't come here legally. They're like, no, you guys get out of here. What are you doing? They were more than happy. Some of my cousins and stuff get deported all the time. They coming in, getting deported, coming in, getting deported.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So that's like a common thing. That you just get deported, you just come back in.
Yeah. It was.
What a mess.
It was pretty regular. Yeah, it was not unusual. But it wasn't like it is now, where like most people that I knew growing up came here legally or grew up here, and now I just see so many people who are clearly not from the United States at all, nor are they interested in becoming Americans. Like when my family came here, they wanted to be Americans. They were not wanting to, they weren't like flying a Mexican flag and, you know what I mean, all that mess.
To speak English.
Speak English, yeah.
Right.
I never even learned Spanish. My family didn't teach me Spanish.
I know, yeah. I think I've only ever met Mexicans that do that. I don't know if other Hispanics do that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know what it
know.
is. It's
Yeah.
but anyways,
I want to let you get back to some other callers.
Yeah.
I also wanted to make a suggestion. Is if you have a show, I wanted to call in and talk about this one of these days, but we've talked long enough about the sleep paralysis stuff.
Sure, man.
And
Call me again for sure.
People getting visited by demons, because that's happened to me, and it's gnarly stuff.
Yeah, man. Call me again on that for sure.
All right. Well, I'll see you, Nick. I'll listen to the rest of the show.
All right. Call me again. 888-775-3773. Very nice. We'll get to all of you here in a sec. Your super chats and all that. They couldn't get people to stay in their seats in the 1990s with PCs. They knew they had to make a device that people could take with them everywhere that they go. I think that's just a matter of miniaturization, Doom Jesus. But what do I know, right? You know, they were just like computers, and then they're like, okay, man, these transistors, they be doubling. Look at how small we can make this. Isn't it amazing? By God, look at how small it is. And then they, put it in your pocket. You're like, let's miniaturize everything. But you're right. They are dumb. We are a bunch of dummies with our dumb phones. Like captives. Doom Jesus. Fair enough. Yeah, basically. Yeah, I basically agree. Basically, Doom Jesus. Yeah, I basically agree. So anyways, let's keep it moving. Look, let's deal with Operation Raise the Colors. I want to deal with this. Can we do this? Let me unmute this. Basically, you won't believe it. The English are running around in England, of all places, doing the most controversial of acts. Such a controversial act of putting up English flags, spamming English flags everywhere. They are spamming the English flag in England. It's incredible. A grassroots movement, Wikipedia calls Operation Raise the Colors, COLOURS. We're in England, okay? Began around July 2025, initially tied to showing support. Wait, what? Did it really? Is this true? Showing support for the English women's Euro, okay? Look, English women are English too, and they can have the English flag. It fits, okay? I know it's men's history. You maybe have the wrong mentality. Okay, they were supporting the England in the Women's Euro 2025 quickly evolved into a broader nationalistic gesture with flags displayed across public spaces, lampposts, bridges, painted onto roundabouts, and others, okay? And there is controversy. Wikipedia reports on the far-right involvement. Uh-oh. The campaign has received backing from far-right groups, figures like Tommy Robinson. You might be somewhat familiar with Tommy. He really doesn't want those Muslims in England. And you know what? For that, is he wrong? Prompting concerns that it's being used to promote xenophobic or exclusionary messaging rather than just patriotism. You're being a little exclusionary with that flag, okay? Did you stop to think about all the people that would not appreciate that English flag, Englishman, sir, in England? Did you even stop to think? So exclusionary. You wouldn't go to any other nation and say, well, why are you being so exclusionary? What's up with all your flags? Italy, what's going on with you? Well, Italy is probably get the same treatment. Anti-racism organizations argue that campaign is a deliberate effort to intimidate immigrants and communities of color during a time of heightened anti-immigration sentiment. Good. They should know, maybe. Why would you go somewhere where you're not welcome? And you know what? You should know this. Maybe it shouldn't be. If the government, if there's some organization saying, "Hey, come to Birmingham, you'll have a great life there," they should know that people there don't want you there, and they would be maybe hostile. And I don't support hostility and violence or anything like that. But can you even be just a person? Hey, I don't want this person here. No, this person, I can't even understand them. We're not going to get along. You could say that person's wrong, but I mean, that's a person. Shouldn't they be allowed to think that, right? And then if enough of them are doing that, then that's just kind of natural. You see what I'm saying here? It's like natural. Now this area is like, we run like this, and the people should know this so that they don't come here. So anyways, look. I got some clips for you. This gets a little bit more interesting with the clips. But yeah, man, you understand, right? You understand it's the controversy is the flag itself. They call it nationalist, far right. They call it all these things because because the status quo, the necessity for stability of those in power with wealth, etc. They have decided, right? They've made this decision. It really doesn't matter. Right wing, left wing, doesn't matter. In the West, some factions have made it a requirement to be anti-racist. We're going to have these immigrants, whether you like it or not. So, right, in the spirit of government stability, getting the right, the GDP is going up, but also this stat is going up. And the stat is, trust me, they got stuff on this. I don't know exactly, but it's something like, right, anger is rising, right? Dissent is rising. Ability to control these people is going down. So, but GDP is going up because we got the immigrants coming in. So, you know what? Hit them with propaganda. Hit them with, you got to accept them. Don't be racist, right? Hit them with, in the schools. Hit them in the schools. Teach them while they're young. And then what happens, right? What's starting to happen? Tensions are rising. And I don't support anger. I don't support violence. I don't support any of that. But there comes a moment, right? There comes a time, maybe, when maybe you got to put up the English flag everywhere. It's like, they're not even getting crazy. They're just putting up the English flag. And they're all white. And they're all out there doing it in people's faces. Even if they're saying, no, don't do it. And I think it's awesome. It's the English flag. And there might be some swearing, folks. Sorry, they are a little bit, maybe they're a little bit like hooligans maybe sometimes. But they love their country. And maybe, maybe the this or that individual, we're not support. They're all their own individuals, right? I don't know exactly what they're saying they believe. But you get the vibe.
Are we doing it round here, Get up there!
What are we doing, mate?
Terrence, go on the boys. Next one.
Next one, buddy. Let's go.
Up.
Now do this
Send
one.
it.
Send
Boys
it.
are going mad.
We got to get more paint on.
Hey!
He's doing the whole block. We're doing the whole block.
He's a liar! Jesus come out the Indian. He wants one above the shop.
You guys are crazy, man. How long have you been doing this for?
Bone and bread, fucking Jesus.
Racists flying their flags. This guy is mad at this guy. I think this one's a little violent, a lot of swearing, but now in this one, I think he's just saying this guy, because people are trying to tear down these flags. People are going around tearing down these flags, and I notice sometimes they're white, right? It's just like another English person. So let that be its own poetry. Let that be its own mirror to what is truly happening in these nations, right? I mean, they put up the English flag. Yes, I'm sure there are Muslims like out there saying, what the F? You're like, see, that's the problem. But also, there are whites out there pulling out down these flags. So also that's the problem too. So, I mean, how about a little summary? I found a little humorous summary of what's going on in England. I'll let this funny individual summarize it for you. what's going on the English server?
English players are now capturing flags all across the server. This is why they are doing it and why the Labour clan are hella mad. So everyone knows that English players have had enough of the constant nerf upon nerf, especially with the VPN player glitch. Well, English players are now rushing the main POIs and dropping spawn points all across the map. They are even capturing hard points on roundabout. Insane strat. This is to
That's amazing. The roundabout flag, that's freaking awesome.
roundabout. Insane strat. This is to show the server admins that English players still run the server and they want more patch notes that benefit OG players. But here's the thing, server support staff are using mobility to hop round the minimap and capture these flags.
What a
And
mess.
English players are spamming in the chat because when Green Goblins drop Palestine flags, the server support staff don't care. But when it's OG flags, they get instantly volleyed. Obvious host connection. Good luck and have fun.
What a mess. Someone, you can't get a returner in this game. Kind of funny, whatever. It was silly. Somebody nerfed these immigrants. But it was a good summary, actually. It was a good summary, even though it was like video game terminology. That's what's happening, okay? Will it mean nothing if it's just protesting and then nothing happens? It could very well be, right? But it's just one of those things that you don't see. You don't see why? Because the white people are afraid. It's one of those things you just don't see. Why? Because they've been told it's wrong. Some of them have gone around and agreed and said, hey, okay, we believe you. We agree with this setup. We are anti-racist. It's the right thing to do. Meanwhile, they're getting scammed. Buddy over here is like, oh, nice. Look at this sucker. Let's hire more of our own. But that's the story, right? That's why you don't see some of this. You don't see people going around putting English flags and saying, you know what, even if you don't like it. For those reasons, they have fear, all these things. Now it's for that reason. And you're spamming the chat with English flags. You're spamming the chat. We need OG flags in the chat. And so that's why it's significant, because the reason you don't see it is because of the fear. So it's not about, oh, this is the sign it's coming back. You don't even go that far. All I'm saying is we're both seeing a desire, at least a desire to go against that and say, you know what, I'm not afraid of that. Afraid of these words and all that. It's a good sign. It's the start. It's the signs you need to kind of see in the youth or whatever. Because the opposite behavior comes from all that teaching and brainwashing and fear that has wrought this on the UK. The hordes of Muslims. I mean, they're really a demoralized folk who go around and think, well, it's only two options, right? Either you're like this racist and you're like, I hate these immigrants. Or you're like, I agree with this consensus, and we're going to put her there and we're all going to be friends, even though none of the other ethnic groups agree. Isn't that crazy, right? You're like, let's put her there, we're going to be anti-racist, and only whites are the only ones that mean that? That's crazy. But I'm saying you become so demoralized, you think there's these two options here, and you only think those are these two options because those are the two options presented to you. When, you are the people, right? Or at least America it is, I think, right? The people represent the people by the government, right? The government by the people. But if the people aren't being advocating, making it, I guess you got to be men of good moral character to do that, huh? But if the people are speaking for themselves, then somebody else is. Anyways, that's obvious, right? Anyways. But some of us don't even represent ourselves, but that's another story. I remember just a few years ago, they wouldn't let you post the American flag in the chat. I was just thinking that. I when you guys started spamming the English flag and the American flag, I'm like, oh, now you're allowed to do that now? So anyways, shout out Queen Elizabeth, right? Everything but the beautiful South flag I guess you can't put one of those, huh? India rules Britain now. The flag of St. George. Britannia. You mean this? You mean the woman that represents Britain? Great Britain? And the woman that represents America? That's what Columbia is, by the way. Did you know that? Britannia. Now, I don't know much about Britannia, but I know it's like a woman. And it's like the what? The avatar? The spirit? It's just one depiction of it. I bet you it's not the only. Kind of like in America. But yeah, Columbia. And it is with a U. It's with a U. And then others, right? The Hispanics down there, they're like, we'll just, it's like Christopher Columbus. Like that's, I think it is with O's. And so they're like, we're going to keep it Spanish. But Columbia is also a woman, no? The spirit of America or whatever. And I'm not talking about sportswear. What is this? Columbia woman. What? How do you search this up? Spirit? Yeah, here it is. Lady Columbia. Lady Columbia. Yeah, it's one of those depictions things, I bet. It was just like in magazines and maybe early news publications. And, right, had some virality. But yeah, Columbia, she's depicted on battlefields sometimes. Columbia, hold on. Columbia on the battlefield. I bet you will find something like that. Oh, come on. I'm telling you, she's on the battlefield. I swear. Columbia, America. Battlefield. I don't know. It's like a spiritual figure or something. Anyways. Some of you might know. Incredible. Britannia, Columbia. That's that, right? It has to do with Christopher Columbus. Duh. Pretty cool. So anyways, they're putting up flags in England. Very controversial stuff. But I support Operation Raise the Colors. It's got some of these English politicians sweating. That guy, Starmer, always has this face of, oh no, I have to please everyone. I don't know why. That's just that's the impression I get of his face. He's always got this expression of, did I please everyone? Did I? Well, he's smiling there. Did I? Maybe I'm just adding to it. So, anyways, that's England for you. Wishing them well. Huh? Kevin agrees. Kevin agrees. Support your English brothers. Support the Western countries defending each other the right way. Throw up those flags. Let's go. Yeah, it was a great explanation, Aaron. Thanks. Well, thanks to that video. How many people need to go to jail for something they said or typed on the internet before England realizes they live in a communist dictatorship? Look, I think we learned a bit about human nature at this point now. It has no bottom. Hell has no bottom. You could keep going. You could keep going and be deeper in hell and just kind of be more and more okay with it. More and more comfortable. Just fine with it. Just, oh, you wouldn't believe I had to get up and walk over all these homeless and then, caught around in my bulletproof vest, but made it to work fine. You just get used to it. You're just fine with it. Paint the whole town. Let's keep it moving here. How about we do Raja? Huh? I mean, I guess we talked about it briefly with a caller. I guess I meant to go through some of the details. Put it like this. Let me just pull it up because his father, look, we'll actually go through this because my caller had brought up Raja Jackson, Rampage Jackson's son, and that whole thing with that wrestler. And my caller had basically brought up the father's response to this. So that's significant. You guys might find this interesting, and I think really does speak to how this can even come about. Some people were wondering even, how is this even about black people, Nick? This is Rampage Jackson. They didn't go around blaming racism here. They didn't say anything about racism. Okay. But I find some of his parenting interesting, and you could draw some parallels here. I'm sure many parents are like this. But consider, even if at the very least here, all you have is a father justifying, kind of giving a justification for his son's behavior out of misplaced, what they'll call love, out of not wanting him to go to jail or receive any kind of harsh penalty, out of a desire to protect and shield him. I think out of that was born Rampage Jackson's. I forget his name. It feels a little silly to call him Rampage. Hey, what's up, Rampage? I don't even know. Rampage Jackson's response here. And if you consider for a moment, this is I'll read it here in a moment. This is the response the black parenting is right now. And look, it's crazier even. Just take in Rampage Jackson's response is the same approach the government has, the schools have with black people. And then this really does extend because it seems like more and more of America just says, this is normal. This is how you raise children. This is how you parent. This is how you operate. You don't let yourself be disrespected. That matters. Words matter. All this kind of spreads. And so I think it explains what I was saying earlier too, the unique justification for anger that blacks have. Now, maybe this was just a father, being soft and protecting him, and that way hurting them in the long run. So maybe this isn't racial in that way. But again, consider that how Rampage treats his son here is how the world treats blacks. And how's anything going to get better? How are we going to get better? We adopt that mentality. How's any other group going to get better? I read about that. It's kind of how I think here. So you're somewhat familiar with this story, right? This guy, the son of this fighter, right? Rampage is like MMA, right? And his son got into that too. Now MMA, if you know anything about wrestling, it's different than MMA. I'll tell you that much. Now, for all of you haters, you want to say wrestling's fake. Okay, those are still athletes. Okay, they still got to pick them up and stuff, and you got to be convincing somewhat. It's convincing for what? It's a bit of a show. It's a bit of you ham it up. Maybe the winner and the losers are already predetermined. Maybe some of the moves are predetermined, but those moves are difficult. Okay, let's see you get in the ring and do a Batista bomb. Huh? Do a 5-star frog splash. No fear. But I don't know. I haven't seen wrestling in a long time. But you got this guy, Rampage, and he's been a kick streamer now for some time. And I've seen his clips around. I don't exactly know exactly what he does, but I gather it's like most kick streamers. They just kind of stream what they're doing, and they just try and have really interesting, exciting streams. We're at the club, we're fighting, we're doing this, we're doing that. Just kind of following my life. Some of these people are total celebrities, so just being live, being a celebrity is its own thing. And so I've seen his clips, and I've even seen his clips sometimes interacting with his son. And it seems his son has been a recurring character in his streams. Maybe, I gather, his son also has kind of his own online presence and all that. Besides being a fighter himself. Now again, MMA. I don't think that's scripted in the same way. You go into a wrestling match in a wrestling ring, you have to understand maybe some of the thinking here is we're going to wrestle here, not necessarily MMA. We'll get to that. So let me see. What clips did I have here? What did I even have for you here? Let me pull this up. Is this even that important interest to go through the minutia, the timeline? Raja, what was wrong here? Why did he do it? Let me see. It's even that interesting. It's pretty violent. So I think we could start it off here, though, because the moment how it kicks off, basically, is this backstage moment where Raja is not too happy because it seems the moment. Now, again, see, let's just do the clips I have here. Do you even need to know why they met? Who cares? Look, they were backstage somewhere. And I don't know if this started off confrontational, but there was a moment when this wrestler who's called Psycho Stu. Look, Psycho Stu was playing his shtick. He's being Psycho Stu. I'm a psycho. He takes like a beer can or something, puts it up next to Raja's head. You can't even, it's hard to even see. But it seems like he does like a Psycho Stu move and like cracks the can next to his head or on his head. It's hard to say if it looked like it even hurt, but, you know, beer or soda or whatever goes everywhere. And it's like, what? Why are you stepping up to me? And it's like, I'm talking about the one clip I don't have. Hold on. Psycho Stu. Let me see if I can find it. Since I'm talking about it, right? In the last bit of the show. The moment that kind of started, here it is. Now, why are they back here? What are they having an altercation about? I forget, but I don't even know. But it kind of goes south here, right?
Hey, I think that's
Oh, what? Psycho Stu!
Easy. He's not a fucking worker, bro. Calm down.
And so they're telling Stu here to calm down, that this guy's not like a worker, an employee, you know. Psycho Stu might have just gotten a little excited with the cameras and all that. And he's doing his little, right? He's a wrestler, right? They have shticks. I'm Psycho Stu. Look at the cameras. It's time to be psycho. Look at me. This is what psychos do. They smash, right? That's totally a shtick. That's totally a wrestler shtick.
You don't show it?
And then so it was not a joke for Raja here.
He's not a fucking worker, bro. Calm down.
Yeah, what the fuck was that?
You're good.
What the fuck was that?
They're telling him you're good, Raja, you're good.
Dude,
Putting his hands on him, but trying to just be chill. I don't know. It seems a little confrontational. He may be kind of unhappy with Raja's response here. So they're trying to chill out the whole situation.
What the fuck was that? Hold on. I don't play that shit, bro.
I don't play that.
Fuck him
We're
up,
good.
bro.
I know you will. We're good.
I will fuck him up, bro.
I know you will.
Okay, so that was like how it started. Now the story goes that apparently they agreed to to let it out on the stage, something like that. Allegedly, they had agreed. Okay, you know what? Well, let's add you into the show. I mean, Rampage here in a moment corroborates all such things. I'll tell you his response in a moment. And the story goes that, you know, we'll give you a chance to kind of clear it up on the ring, you know. But you know, it's like, it's wrestling, right? It's kind of a moment on the ring. Anyways, that's what I heard. I heard they were going to clear it up on the ring. Some people call it scripted. I don't know. But they said that this was supposed to be a scripted moment where he kind of gets even on the ring. He slams him. Now it gets pretty violent, so I'm just going to scroll. And, you know, he starts punching him. The guy's unconscious. And he starts punching him in this most savage way. And you can see he's mad. You can clearly see he's mad. You clearly see he's getting up like he's just mad. In my opinion. It just seems like he's totally mad. At one point, even like missing punches. He's just so mad, in my opinion. So yeah, so that's one thing, and then they're posting the evidence that this is deeper than just like he just got mad and went in the ring, because there was a lot of time in between the can incident. There was a whole bunch of time between that and the ring moment. There was people posting clips of the fella.
No.
Where is it? Raja here saying, where is it? Getting hyped up for the upcoming moment, saying you're about to see a fake crash out.
Should I slam him first?
Oh yeah,
Get him back. They said
there it is.
go in the ring and get his ass. I don't even know why I'm.
So this is in between that, right? So to show how much time there was in between the first initial slight, there was all this time in between that where he's able to be on camera, talking to people, friends on the phone, saying what he's about to do, how disrespected he is. I'm about to mess up. It's always been my dream to F up a pro wrestler.
Pissed me off, bro. It didn't even hurt. It just pissed me off. That shit pissed me off.
It didn't even hurt. It just pissed me off.
And I'm gonna have to get him back. They said I can go in the ring and get his ass.
They said I can go on the ring. See, corroborating all the things we heard.
I don't even know what I'm gonna do to him.
I don't even know what I'm gonna do to him. They said I can go into the ring. Buddy, I don't think they said to go into the ring to do all that.
That can't do shit. I'm gonna fake crash out. All right.
I'm gonna fake crash out, meaning I'm gonna pretend to be really, really mad and crash out so I can mess him up. What kind of commentary is that?
Bet. You about to see you about to see how fake of a crash out I am.
What he said?
Oh, my bad. I misunderstood. It looks like he's responding to chat there. Right? They're saying fake crash out. Oh, okay. Oh, so you think I'm really not mad? You think I'm not going to crash out? Oh, you about to find out just how fake this crash out is. And I guess he showed us how fake it wasn't.
Crash out. He said, I'm a fake crash out. Bet. Again, you're going to see the escalation.
It's always been my dream to fuck up a pro wrestler for real. So I get it today.
So you get it, see? You get it. You see all this? What kind of mentality is that to a slight, a disrespect, what you perceive a disrespect? Even if it was, it's just too far, right? It's just way too far. So, because we mentioned it yesterday, kind of wanted to go through it a bit. There's kind of the report for you. Some more interesting videos. We'll get to this last one in a moment. But just to wrap this up, here's the father's response. I want to clear up the misinformation about my son, Raja. I've been confirmed that the wrestler, Psycho Stu, is awake. Stuart Smith is awake and stable. Raja was unexpectedly hit in the side of the head by him moments before Smith's match. Raja was told that he could get his payback in the ring. I thought it was a part of the show. It was bad judgment and a work that went wrong. No, he was not. This unexpected hit on the side of your head was not moments before this match. Okay, he was told he could get his payback, but not almost kill somebody. Bad judgment. It was just work that went wrong. No, he got mad. He got mad. Got his payback and he was disrespected because he felt disrespected, and maybe nobody ever told him that you don't have a right to be angry over disrespect. That doesn't even make sense. Who's being disrespected? Sorry. But put it like this. You're the one that's feeling that, not the person that's disrespecting you. You're the one feeling that way. And it's because of your feelings that you need to hit someone and do all this. Tell me again, who's responsible here? They're saying he suffered a concussion from sparring only days ago and had no business doing anything remotely close to physical contact. You're telling me he got CTE? He got brain damage. Hold on. Wait, remember that song? I got CTE. I got brain damage. I'm going to tackle your daddy. I'm going to tackle your mama. I'm sorry. It's just too. Oh, come on. Too perfect of a song. This is for Raja.
I got brain damage. I'm gonna take your mama. I'm gonna take your daddy. I'm gonna take
hold
your
up.
dog.
This one's for Raja. This one goes out to Raja. That being said, I'm very upset that any of this happened, but my main concern is now that Mr. Smith will make a speedy recovery. I heard he got banned. What a mess. Anger's a mess. This one's for Raja.
I'm gonna take your goldfish. I'm gonna take your granddad. I'm gonna take your grandma through some drywall. About to see the DEA. I got a felony. About to go to jail for attacking motherfuckers.
Yeah. I smoke PCP.
Hey, that's what the song said. I'm not saying Rampage. I'm not saying Raja is smoking PCP, but he may have CTE, and he may tackle your grandma through some drywall, and then go to jail. What a mess. Raja's right behind you, Nit. This plays in Raja's head, LOL. I got brain damage. Okay. Anyways, let's get to Rick out of Hampton, Virginia. How you doing, sir? Appreciate your call.
Man, my brother Nick, thank you for taking my call, man. Appreciate you guys. Love you guys. But man, I got to get to these these Democrats, these liberals. Man,
Tell us.
Tells me that, Nick. Like for example, did you hear the Illinois governor? Him and he had some plant-based false prophet black pastors with him, and he going around saying, "Well, Trump's sending the National Guard to Chicago, but his red states got high crime, and why he not sending them there?" But how the Democrats deceive you out the red states. I can take Alabama for example. Even though Alabama's a red state, but it's a high crime, but what the governor of Illinois failed to tell you was that the cities that have the high crime are blue cities. You see what I'm saying, Nick?
Yeah.
So the governor, he didn't discuss that. Like in Alabama, it was a red state. Birmingham, it's blue as the sky, high crime. Anniston, Alabama, blue city, high crime. Let's take Mississippi, Jackson, Mississippi, blue city, ran by Democrats, high crime area. You see what I'm saying? But he didn't share that. He just said the whole entire state. But he didn't say it's the blue cities that's making that red state have a high crime rate.
That's incredible. It's that city.
Yeah.
That's Pritzker, right?
Yeah, it's the city, yeah. Look at all the red states the liberals call out. They're gonna call out Alabama, Oklahoma,
right,
Mississippi. And if you look at them cities and look at the major cities, which are blue, crime is high in those areas.
That's a good point, man. I mean, it's really it looks like a rift when you look at any of these states. Pretty much every state, it's this rift. You got pretty much red counties are surrounding these blue cities.
Yeah, the blue cities where all the buffoonery is going on at, man.
Yeah, that's for sure. Extreme levels of buffoonery.
Exactly. It goes on the blue cities, and then the rest of the state is calm, cool, and collective. And then, and it kills me because the liberals control the media. They control the media, so they depend on these voters staying high on drugs, where they won't be informed.
Right.
That's why you liberals see little legalized marijuana. Keep them brain dead, not able to think for themselves, and not able to see the revelation God give them. You're in a red state. Go ahead.
No, please. In a red state.
Yeah, and you will see that all the crime that's why the red state is high is because of the blue cities that's in that red state. It's causing the crime to go up. And they won't share that with you. You just gotta look a little farther. They're begging that you don't go research it anyway. You know?
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, they use the public school system. The public school system is just an assembly line to make kids Democrats as soon as they come out of high school. They are Democrats. They are defaulted to vote Democrat.
Terrible. You know, my personal call it my personal conspiracy on that is as you have a populace that's less productive, less educated, deranged, not willing to work, etc. You have to find other ways to extract value, wealth out of them. So getting them high and all that, right? It's a matter of, well, this is like a quick, you get a quick, economic injection almost with some of this stuff. It's kind of my personal thinking on that. It's just you find other ways to extract value, wealth out of these people, and usually the immoral, the immoral, and all the way to the deranged, you have to basically extract wealth from them by keeping them high, distracted, entertained.
Yeah. That's keep them poor, legalize gambling. Matter of fact, we got black, like I said, I call them the Iron Triangle. You black politicians here in the Hampton Roads area where I stay at.
Mm-hmm.
They want to legalize video poker. It says it improves your skills of chess. Video
Improves
poker
your skills of what?
Getting addicted to gambling. Improve your skills of chance or something. What they tried to use to legalize video poker.
And it's like video poker machines or something?
Poker. Yes, sir.
Gotcha.
Man, gambling is addictive, man.
What a mess.
Man, people be up in there losing their mortgage, man, up in there.
That's true. I'm somewhat familiar with
the video poker and your liberals go out the way to legalize them. Look at Africa, man.
So they're usually illegal.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Nick.
These video poker things are usually illegal.
Yeah, they're legal now. You can find them in almost every convenience store.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah.
So putting
right
machines like these in convenience stores and stuff is illegal, and they're trying to make that legal.
Well, they're legal, but what I'm just saying is they use stuff like that to keep people poor.
Wow, yeah, of
Gambling
course.
will keep you poor, man.
It's a way of extracting wealth from the dummies, in a sense.
Yep, and then blaming it on the wealthy people that saying they holding them down. No, it ain't your bad habits are. Look at socialism, man. Look at Africa. Most of Africa is socialism. They have college students getting degrees. They have to go to Europe or either America or either Dubai to find work because there's no work. There's hardly no entrepreneurs in Africa.
Mm-hmm. That's a mess, man, and it stays that way because there's no way unless that's gone. There's no way out of that.
Well, Africa, they just got to go to capitalism, and the Democrats paint capitalism as a demon. No, it ain't. If people misuse the system, don't make the system bad. Like Jesse says, humans are evil. We just evil people, man. But capitalism, if it's done right, it's great. Capitalism forces you to perform. Guess what? If you don't want to work and don't want to manage your money right, you're going to be poor. If you do right by your money, save your money, invest your money, or have your own business, you're gonna grow wealth. Wealth is growing slowly. When you get wealth in stages, you keep it longer.
That's an interesting point, Rick.
Learn how to handle. What's that, Brother Nick?
I'm saying that's a very interesting point, and it's probably what explains kind of this setup. You know, there are those who believe you don't deserve it. You will misuse it, and so that's why they have these things, gambling. These things they want to extract it from the so-called dummies. But, I mean, that has its own maybe negative effect. And maybe a more noble person would say, hey, well, I don't need to hurt these people or take from them. Maybe I should teach them. But that's difficult. And then maybe some people have tried. Maybe some of those people have even tried. And it's like you become the villain because you're trying to help these people. But these poor people, they just keep going back to wasting their money, whatever. It's one of those things, huh? That's human nature is like fighting with each other and itself all through that story, and it's crazy.
Yes, and the Democrats love to keep people fighting each other, whether it's white Christians, black Christians, Asians fighting the Mexicans fighting the blacks. They love confusion. They love buildings being burned down. They love police shooting. They love all that. Then when their policies don't work, they try and what they do with their people is keep people angry at Trump while they pass and legislate the evil laws while they uninformed and laughing and high. That's what they do.
Crazy, Rick.
It's even been said that most. Yeah, go ahead, Brother Nick.
I just said crazy, Rick. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. This even said that if you get you a conservative woman and a liberal woman, most liberal women have mental issues. They're angry, and you can even talk to when you're in an interview. It's a lady on YouTube. Her name is Miss Kathleen. Well, anyway, she goes around evangelizing about abortion, and then when she goes to these liberal colleges, hey Nick, they be some mean girls at them college campuses, just insulting her. But she just sit there and just be patient and showing them love. And at the end of the day, they come back and like they get convicted. They know they being nasty. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. 100%.
That's just how they are. When they say you can't talk politics or religion, that's just only for liberals. Because most times people just talk and laugh about it. But liberals, when you talk about religion, they get upset.
They're pretty brutal. They're actually pretty ruthless.
Yes, sir.
The liberal.
Because they're emotional and angry anyway. And and like the Democratic Party has come over and take advantage. So I always ask, if somebody's a true Christian, there's no way you can be a Democrat. For what they stand for, and you see what they stand for. Transgenders, abortion, same-sex marriage, open borders, out of order, everything chaos. All that's against God. And then they'll come up and tell you, well, Trump, he got convicted of this and that. Well, I said, let me tell you something. All the stuff y'all talking about what Trump did, that's what he did personally. But you guys try and legislate it. That's a big difference. You see what I'm saying, Nick?
I think I do. Tell me what you mean.
Well, what I'm saying, like what I mean by that is just like when it comes to like abortion, the liberals try and make that law of the land.
That's right.
But what
Force
they
it
call
on
what
others.
Trump doing, yeah, exactly. They make it law of the land. And with Trump, that is what he did to himself personally. He ain't trying to legislate stuff like that. That's a huge difference. I try to remind him of that. I said, no, Trump ain't never tried to legislate nothing.
Right, even
like
if
that.
in his personal life this or that may have happened.
Exactly. If it's in a personal life, it's in his personal life.
That's right.
They go out his personal life. But see, while the Democrats keep their people angry and fear-monged, they're going behind their backs making laws, and they don't even realize it, most of them.
Very clear, Rick. Man, appreciate that. Because at the time I got to let you go, Rick. Can you call me again?
Oh, man, absolutely, man. I got to support my brothers, man.
Always,
Shoot.
Rick.
So,
Always
thanks for
appreciate
taking
it, man.
my call, Nick. Love you guys, man. Continue putting the truth out there, man, because, trust me, we out here listening, man. We thank God for you guys.
Back at you, Rick. Appreciate the support. Call me again.
Yeah, love y'all. Be blessed. Talk to y'all later.
Nice. 888-775-3773. One more call here. We got to go. It's the end of the show. Justin, SoCal, a minute or two here, sir. Appreciate your call, man.
Hey, happy Men's History Month. Thanks for taking my call.
That's right.
I just
Happy
wanted
Men's
to ask
History
you
Month,
if you,
man.
yeah, I just wanted to see if you are familiar with the new game Take Us North, the simulator, the migrant simulator.
Take Us North? No, I'm not familiar.
Oh, so Microsoft is funding it. It's a female developer, and it's about the migrants that are coming basically from Europe to Mexico.
An immigrant caravan simulator?
Yeah.
Oh boy, I can't wait.
Asmongold just streamed it, so now all of a sudden it's being taken down from Twitter and stuff like that. Pretty interesting.
I'll check it out, man. I can't wait to pretend to be I can't wait to, simulate a walking simulator, a dusty walking simulator while I open up my seventh squirt, which is a soda in Mexico. Which
okay.
Or Coca-Cola.
Oh yeah, that always resets your palate.
Oh yeah, big
good old
time.
Coca-Cola.
I can't wait to play Caravan Simulator, man.
All right, got your word? Your word on that?
Yeah, man. I'll check it out. We might talk about it. Thank you, Justin.
Talk to you later. All right, great.
All right, folks, that's the show. 888. Well, no, that's it. That's it. Thank you so much for the support, everybody. Thank you for liking, subscribing, leaving comments. Yeah, you too over there on Rumble, rumble.com/American Anchor, baby. Thank you so much. Tin Man, thank you for the support. All the super chats. Very nice. If you'd like to support, buymeacoffee.com/Anchor, baby. But that's all for now. That's all for today. Hope you enjoyed the show. That's it we did the calls, we did the topics, super chats, and everything. So I must go. That really is it. Hold on. Saying goodbye is so hard. All right now. For real now. I'll see you tomorrow for more American Anchor, baby. Take care. Peace.
The views, information, thoughts, and opinions expressed during this show are the individual's own and do not represent the views, thoughts, and opinions of the JLP Network or Bond. Their appearance on the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity they represent. The material and information presented here is for general information purposes only. The JLP Network and Bond name and all forms and abbreviations are the property of its owner, and its use does not imply endorsement of or opposition to any specific organization, product, or service.